Hi everybody, this is Nathan from Teach the Table, and today I'm teaching you how to play El Grande. El Grande is a game that takes place in Spain in the 1400s, where everyone's going to be competing for control of these different regions of Spain for points. Each player has a number of cubes of their own color. The first one is a larger cube called the Grande, and that's like the high aristocracy. It just marks which region is their home region. And then we also have a number of smaller cubes. Those are called caballeros, which are the average aristocracy, and that's the majority of the cubes we're going to be placing throughout the board for control. There's also a pawn for a king, which has his own region, and there's a castillo over here where you can put your caballeros throughout the game and try to compete for influence. However, once they're inside, it's kind of hard to keep track of how many are there, so you're going to have to try to remember. The game takes place over 9 rounds, and there's a scoring round after the 3rd, 6th, and 9th round. So you're just going to move your cube down and score each of these individual areas like it says. Each region has different scoring inside, and when it comes to scoring that region, you're going to look at who has the most caballeros inside it, and they're going to get the first place number of points. So in this case, 7 points. Second place, so red in this case, would get 4 points. If you're playing with 2 or 3 players, you may not use all of these. So in a 2-player game, you're only going to be using the first place. In a 3-player game, you're only going to be using the first and second place, so that not every player can get points just by having 1 cube in each region. If 2 or more players are tied, that tie is going to be settled to the disadvantage of both players. So in this case, brown and green both have 2 cubes, so they would tie for second place. They would both get the second place points. If it was a 3-way tie like this, they would all be tied for 3rd place. In a 3-player game, we're not using this 3rd spot, so no one would get any points in this case. The last bit of terminology is the caballeros that you have in your supply that you can use are called your court. There's also going to be a number that are in a general supply that you don't have access to yet, and those are called in your province. So you're going to be trying to get caballeros from your province into your court so that you can use them, and then you're going to be trying to get them from your court out into the regions on the board. Each player has these power cards numbered from 1 to 13, and the number indicates the player order. So if you play a higher number than anyone else, you're going to get to go first in that round. They also have a number of caballeros on there. That indicates how many caballeros you get to take from the province into your court so that you can potentially use them. So the starting player will choose a card, and then it goes around the table. Each player chooses a card. They can never play the same number as someone else. So red played the highest number. He gets to go first. He's going to take 2 caballeros from the province into his court, and then he's going to get to choose one of these available face-up action cards. If you don't have enough caballeros in your province to put them in your court, you can also make up the difference by taking them off the board. The action cards have 2 things to pay attention to. The first is the action that's on there. The second is the number of caballeros on the bottom. So the number on the bottom indicates how many caballeros you can move from your court, your general supply, onto the board. When you're adding your caballeros to the board, you need to pay attention to the region where the king is. The king's region is taboo, so nothing can be added or subtracted from that region. And when you add your caballeros, you can only add them to regions that are adjacent to where the king is. I guess it's like power concentrates closest to his region. So you can take the number of caballeros, in this case we'll say I could move 4, and you can put them in any combination you like into regions around the king's region. When adding your caballeros on the board in an area next to the king's region, you can also add them into the castillo if you wanted to. You have to openly announce how many you're adding, but then people are going to have to try to remember how many of each color are in there to try to keep track of where they're at as far as controlling it. Next on your turn, you can do the action that's on the action card that you chose. Now you can do the 2 things in either order. You can do your action and then move your caballeros onto the board, or vice versa like I just showed you. You also don't have to do the action that's on here at all. So there could be a card that's a huge advantage to another player, and you just choose it so that they can't do it. So when it comes to your action, you can choose if you want to do it or just cancel it altogether. After you've chosen your action card, you've moved your caballeros, and you've done the action if you want to, that's going to end your turn. So then it's going to go to the next player in player order. They're going to get 3 caballeros from their province into their court. They're going to choose one of the available actions. They can move caballeros to the board and do the action if they like, etc. At the end of a round, any face-up actions that weren't chosen are going to go away, as well as the actions people chose. And these power cards are never going to be able to be played again by those players. So then you're going to move the round marker, choose some more face-up cards here, And the one card that's in the 5th stack here, there's only one card in there. So this card's always going to keep coming back to here. Even if someone chose it and did it, it's always going to come back. That's the only card available. When starting a new round, the player who went last, or who had the lowest number last time, has to choose their power card first. And then we're going to go around in a clockwise fashion where each player plays their power cards and play continues just like before. Rounds will continue like so until after the 3rd round, we're going to have the scoring take place. The first thing shown on the scoring track is this little wheel. Each player will have a secret wheel where they can choose where they want their caballeros that are inside the castillo to go. They all have to go to one region and then go anywhere on the board except for the region where the king is. So they would choose a region, and then we move on to scoring the castle. To score the castle, you just review how many cubes are inside there. We have 3 browns, 2 greens, and 1 red. So brown will get first place of 5 points. Green will get second place of 3 points on the scoring track. Then we're going to move all of the cubes of each player's color to the region that they secretly chose. So brown chose New Castile. So all the browns are going to go there, etc. After moving the caballeros like we just showed you, then we're going to score each region in order as shown on this track, starting with Galicia, Basque County, Aragon, etc. Scoring occurs like I showed you based on who has the most influence there, but if you win in the region where the king is, so in this case green has the most in Basque County, so he'd get 5 points, plus the king is there, he's going to get 2 additional points, plus it's his home region where his Grande is, he's going to get 2 more additional points. If there's a tie, no one's going to get the bonus points for the king. That's pretty much all there is to it. So you're going to score and continue 3 more rounds, score, continue 3 more rounds, and the game's going to end. Whoever has the most points at the end of the 3rd scoring round is the winner. There are optional rules in the game as well. If you want a shorter game, or if everyone at the table is new to it, then you can skip rounds 1, 4, and 7. So you can get a feel for the same game, just a shorter time span. That's all you need to know in order to play El Grande. There's lots of strategies to take, but it's all boiled down into just a few simple actions per turn. The other thing to point out is that the game now comes with 3 expansions inside. So I've showed you just the base game, but if you want to add some more flavor to the game, there's 3 other expansions you can try out. Thanks for watching Teach the Table, and don't forget to have fun.